I'm David Lowe, and welcome to Seek Excellence. Today we're going to talk about another excerpt from our series on seeking excellence. We talked about seeking excellence in all the areas of our lives, right? We said physically, spiritually, mentally or intellectually, if you will, relationally, and even financially, right? And of course, professionally. And today we're going to talk about seeking excellence professionally. What does it mean, right? So we can go back to the personal responsibility we've talked about so many times because it's so important. The 5 key areas of personal responsibility, what are they, right? First is your attitude, having that winning attitude. Attitudes are contagious, and ours has to be one. If we want to be excellent professionally, we have to have a professional attitude, don't we? That can do. We don't want to bring others down with what we say and what we do and how we say it and how we do it, right? And then we have to develop the knowledge. You got to know what to do, why to do it, how to do it. It's very important if you want to be excellent that you become a student of your craft, right? And that you are constantly seeking to become smarter, better knowledge, seeking knowledge on a continual basis. Of course, there's developing your skill. That's turning knowledge into an art form, isn't it, right? Taking that knowledge and practicing it over and over till your actions and reactions become instinct. That's what we call skill, right? And of course, working with excellence, being excellent professionally means acting with excellence every day, that our actions match the game plan that we have today, that our actions match the high values and high expectations that we have set. And of course, working professionally, being excellent professionally means that we are hitting consistent results, that our results are consistently excellent. We don't always have to be the top to be excellent, but we always have to give everything we have every single day, week, and month, right? Now, I'm going to break this down for you to kind of tell you what I mean, and I'm going to use my job as automotive sales coach, and we've created 7 key areas to sales excellence for salespeople. Now, whatever your profession is, you may want to consider doing something like this, defining what excellence looks like for your job. So I'm going to walk through them. As a matter of fact, in our excellence roadmap manual, named right excellence, because that's what we're after, on the back of it, we actually have these, and I'll be reading these to you, the 7 keys to sales excellence. All right, so let me walk you through them. And again, this is for today's sales professionals. You may not be in sales, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't seek excellence. You may want to make a list for yourself. If you're going to say, I'm excellent at what I do, what does that mean to you, right? You got to have some kind of benchmark to gauge that. So here's the 7 key areas. First one, develop and maintain excellent thinking and habits, right? If you want to work with excellence, you have to think with excellence, right? If you don't think right, you can't act right. And if you don't act right, obviously you won't get the right results. So the key to professional excellence for sales professionals is doing what? It's maintaining the right thinking about who you are, the right thinking about your buyer, the right thinking about your product, and the right thinking about process, the right thinking about pricing. It's extremely important to maintain that, of course. And the second part of number 1 is maintaining and developing those right habits, excellent habits, that daily routine, so that you run your day and it doesn't run you. What should you do every day, and when should you do it, right? There's things that we do the same time every day, and there's things that we have to do throughout the day to make sure we work with excellence. Number 1, develop, maintain excellent thinking. Number 2, practice the principles and sales steps. You need to know, if you're a sales professional, you need to know the principles that drive the sale, and you need to know the steps of the sales process, don't you? You have to know your playbook, your game plan. How can you possibly work with excellence if you don't master your sales game plan, which we call a sales process, right? We call it the excellence roadmap, a map to sales excellence. What do you do? And of course, it's guided by the principles of sales excellence. Relationship and trust, value, desire, commitment, win-win agreements, and of course, follow-up for customers for a lifetime, right? So you have to practice and master the principles and your sales steps. And beyond that, it's the sales tools, right? They're within the sales steps. There's tools that you use every day, and you have to master them. All right, let me get a third one for sales professionals. You have to master your key selling skills, right? So there's the sales process, but within that, there's some specific skills that all salesmen, and I quite frankly believe all people really need to develop. Let me give you a list of a few of them, right? You have to be an expert at building relationship and trust, don't you? You have to be good at establishing that rapport, that common ground that turns into that professional relationship and professional trust. People have to believe that you can solve their problem or that you can fix or you can be a benefit to them depending on whatever you're doing, right? So you have to be, the sales skill of developing relationship rapport is so important. And the second sales skill is really how you do the first sales skill, and that is you have to be an excellent listener. You have to actively listen, right? Good listeners are people who hear what other people are saying and adjust their presentation to fit what they heard. They don't actually, they ask good questions, which of course is the third sales skill that we're talking under master sales. You have to be naturally curious and ask good questions. And of course you have to what? Actively listen so you can hear what the buyer is trying to say, saying, or not saying at all, right? So you've got building a relationship rapport, you've got actively listening, actually hearing your person that you're talking to, be interested in them, being naturally curious, and asking good questions, right? There's some good questions that can be formatted up front, which we would call maybe our target questions, our conversation starters, and then these questions are asked and we actively listen to formulate those good follow-up or clarifying questions, right? These are key skills that every salesman should have. And of course, it's turning questions into conversations with lead-ins and affirmations afterwards that really make you a good conversationalist. So these first three really fit together. Building relationship rapport by actively listening and asking good questions, right? And you have to be able, number 4 under the sales skills is you have to be able to present your products, benefits, as personal benefits. So you have to have your product knowledge, of course, and you have to be able to turn that into personal benefits. You have to present it in a way that meets the buyer's lifestyle, right? And of course, gaining commitment and negotiating in a way that's win-win. These are sales skills that every salesperson should strive after and should master. So we've got develop the right attitude, the right thinking, the right habits. We have mastering the principles, practicing, developing, and mastering the principles and the sales process, and we have mastering these key selling skills. Okay, number 4 for a professional salesperson to work with excellence is product knowledge, right? And every once in a while when I go into dealership, I'll give a survey to new sales or to salespeople at a dealership that we just started training and ask them for their strengths and weaknesses on a scale of 1 to 10. And you wouldn't believe how low most salesmen score themselves on product knowledge. And I know this isn't easy today, but you need to be a product knowledge expert. You don't have to tell every buyer everything you know, but you need to know a lot so that you can tell the buyer what he needs to know to feel comfortable saying this is the right car. So you have to pursue product knowledge. And I say pursue because it's not a one-time thing. I know your manufacturer, if you're selling cars, your manufacturer has a certification program, or if you're selling insurance or you're a doctor, you have a certification, right? You have to pass to move on to the next step. But your learning, your product knowledge doesn't ever end, right? Number 5, you have to be a dealership ambassador or a company ambassador. If you're not in a dealership, whatever you do, you have to be a benefit to that company. You have to be, so let's do it in the words or the job description of a sales consultant. You have to be a dealership ambassador. What does that mean? It means you treat every buyer, every customer like they are yours. It means you don't point for directions. It means you lead people to where they're going, right? It means if you see trash in a parking lot, you pick it up. You are engaged constantly in representing the dealership well and making sure the dealership is represented well to your buyers and potential customers, right? Okay, number 6, to work with excellence for a sales professional, you have to follow up. And can I tell you something? This goes for every job description out there that I know of. You have to follow up and make sure what you said was going to happen is going to happen. today we're so frustrated with customer service because people don't seem to follow up and complete the conversations we had, right? And for a sales professional, follow up is key. Being able to stay in touch with your current customers and your potential customers is key. Without it, you can't say that you're working with excellence, right? And number 7 fits all of these is you have to take personal responsibility for your continued growth. I don't care what you're doing for a living, whether you're a sales professional or not, if you can't let your company be responsible for continued growth. You have to seek out the knowledge and the training, and you have to go ahead and take personal responsibility for developing that knowledge and turning it into skill and to working with excellence every day. Does that make sense? So there's 7 things that we noticed that excellent salespeople have in common, and we actually put it right on our manual, and we did that to encourage sales professionals to do what? Here's kind of the benchmark. Are you this? Where are you here? So that they can look at this and say, if I want to be excellent, if I want to call myself excellent, these are the categories I can use to go ahead and do self-examination, self-evaluate my strengths and my weakness. And so it is with everyone. So for all of us out there, no matter what job you're doing, are you doing it with excellence? Martin Luther King said, if you're gonna be a janitor, if you're gonna mop the floors better than anybody's done it before. Work with excellence. When you work with excellence, you get a healthy pride that goes beyond any other kind of compensation you can get. When you have self-respect, you can live with that joy, peace, and satisfaction we're looking at. So today, here's what today's Seek Excellence is about seeking excellence professionally and doing more than just saying, I want that, actually figuring out what does that mean in my role? What does excellence look like in my role, and how am I doing on it? And am I continually improving my ability to serve and be a benefit to those in my company, the customers, or whoever I interact with? I'm David Lowe. Thanks for watching Seek Excellence.